They have been the oasis for the weary highway traveler for decades. A place to check the oil, to walk the dog, to pick up snacks, and to relieve the bladder. Above all, a place to rest. And to Jennifer McCord of Virginia's Department of Transportation, rest stops are not just for convenience, they're for safety.
A lot of folks feel safer stopping at a rest area than they do getting off of the interstate in an unfamiliar area, especially late at night. So it's really important to have somewhere where you feel safe to stop.
And those stops become critical when the inevitable driving fatigue sets in. But the economic crisis gripping the nation is forcing some states to reconsider the relevance of their rest stops. Take Virginia, for example. State officials here are pushing for the closure of more than half of its 41 interstate rest areas, including this one along I-95, where foot traffic still trickles in.
I think it's going to be a hardship for an awful lot of people on 95, a real hardship, I would think.
All the other alternatives are all commercial things. You know, so you shouldn't have to buy something to take a rest. Yeah. Resting should be free. It's America.
People need these. They need to get off this highway, to walk around. Some of them, drive long hours, like me. This is the ideal thing. Pull right in, got a bag of chips, something cold to drink, and stretch a leg, and we can move on. But without that, people are going to die on these highways. They're going to die.
Many of the motorists here do have concerns about the closure of this rest stop. But in the end, budgets are where the rubber hits the road.
Virginia's Transportation Department is running on fumes, saddled with a $2.6 billion shortfall. Even the hundreds of millions of federal dollars flowing in from the Recovery Act can't dig the state out of its financial hole. That means tough decisions for officials who want to cut costs but ensure safety on its roadways.
The rest areas that are under consideration for closure are typically in more urban areas, rest areas that are closer to other areas where folks can stop, or other rest areas. We've also looked at the number of visitors that some of these rest areas get each day. So we've tried to look at rest areas that are of less use and are less used by the public.
Other states like North Carolina have cut back on rest stop maintenance. However, Delaware and California are actually upgrading some of their facilities, choosing other avenues to fight the recession. It's up to individual states to decide the fate of their rest stops. A fate you might say is up in the air. And travelers? Well, they'll continue driving down that open yet uncertain road, looking for rest wherever they can find it. Mark Adams, BBC News, Washington.